William, what's the mood of the group, would you say, coming off the road trip?
Obviously, it's a tough road trip, but I think we're positive and we're confident in the kind of group that we have. And I thought yesterday was a great practice for us, and we're ready to, or we're looking forward for tonight.
What's the biggest thing would you say on the ice has to change?
I just think we got to move our feet more and be more connected. That's all. I think that'll help us a lot in the game.
What stood out most to you about Pontus Holmberg in camp?
Yeah, his smartness and how he moves around on the ice, making himself open and making small little plays to open up ice for other guys. He's a very smart player.
How do you feel Sheldon is handling it? It can be tough to find the right tone for a coach when a team is going through something like this. What are you picking up from him?
Yeah, I think he's doing a great job making the boys feel confident. Obviously it's tough when we've been losing and everybody wants to do better. And I think he's been hard, but still helping lift guys up.
It seems like the Flyers are probably going to start Sandstrom in net. Do you know much about Felix?
Might have played with him a little bit national team. I think he's maybe a year younger than me, but yeah, he's pretty good goalie.
How much are you looking around the league at how well other Eastern teams are doing? I know it's early, but they seem to be, if they're not beating Western teams, they're going to overtime and gaining a couple of points on you guys.
You know what, I haven't really looked at the standings too much. All I could really tell you is I think Boston was off to a hot start. That's all I really know.
What's the body feel like coming off? You hear that the first game back from the West can be tough sometimes. Like, how's the body, the mind feeling coming off the trip in terms of the travel and everything?
I feel fine.
You talked about having a good practice yesterday. And how does a practice help you reset?
Yeah, just get the legs moving again. I think we had a good practice. Like I said, we need to get our legs moving out there, and I think that practice helped get that aspect of our game going, and that'll carry over for tonight.
Do you sense any restlessness in the city and the fan base coming home?
What do you mean, like?
You feel like people are wanting to see you get back on the track and the fan base?
Look, I took a walk yesterday with my dogs, and I ran into a couple of fans, and everybody's positive, so everybody knows that we're capable of playing better. So.
What do you know about Pontus Holmberg?
Well, I'm happy he's up and get the chance to play today. I'm super excited for him. We were at the same dev camp the first time together, and since then started knowing more and more. And I haven't seen much, but I've heard he's played really, really well down there in the AHL. So happy for him to get a chance today.
His English isn't that great, but what's your sense of what tonight's going to mean for him?
Well, first off, his English is getting better. First dev camp, I was his translator, so it's getting better. But I think he's just super excited for today, and I think he's going to bring the same game here as he does in the AHL. He's such a smart player, and I think he will help our team today. So I'm just super excited for him.
Yeah, Sheldon said he doesn't score a lot, but he does a lot of the little things you need to win. What are some of those little things you notice he's good at?
Well, he's smart with the puck. He makes really smart decisions. He's a player that he does everything. I feel like he creates chances to score, and not only for himself but for others. He's still pissed he hasn't scored yet down with the Marlies, but hopefully it'll come today. And as I said, I think he seems pretty calm today as well, and just looking forward for the game tonight. What's
your sense of the group coming off a tough road trip? What's the atmosphere like around the team?
I think it's even though the results has been what they've been, but I think we feel pretty good. We're confident. We're very focused for tonight, and we're excited to be back home and play in front of our fans.
I know breakouts have been a focus. What's the key for the defense to get the puck going up the ice?
Well, we just need to move a little bit faster, move our feet better, move the puck a little bit quicker. Just being connected more as a group, together with our forwards, together with your D partners, stuff like that. So we just need to be more connected overall.
What has been the tone of Sheldon during this time? It can be tough to find the right tone, not be too negative, not be obviously too positive when things are going this way. What's your sense of the coach?
No, I think he's been handling it very well with the whole group. We obviously take this very serious, and he's trying to help us and get connected more. Practice has been good, and we're just super focused for tonight. So I think he's been handling well, and together with the whole group. As I said, practice has been good, and we're looking forward to tonight's game.
Sometimes the first game back from California or a West Coast trip can be tricky. How's the body feeling? How's the mind feeling coming off all the travel and everything you went through?
Pretty good. As I said, I think we all are just super excited to be back home and play here in Toronto. So we're super excited to get another chance here to get back on track. And at least I cannot wait for tonight and hopefully be more connected and play 60 minutes of good hockey.
Willie said yesterday's practice was a good practice to help you guys reset, refocus, sort of thing. What goes into a good practice in that sense of getting you guys on track?
Good communication, same thing there, you practice as you play, right? So move your feet well and move the puck well, and I think we did that yesterday in practice, and hopefully that'll bring into tonight's game.
How important is it to do well against the East now that you have some games against them? Because everyone's doing well, everyone's beating the West too. It's early, of course, but you guys need some points against the East as well.
Yeah, of course. Whatever game it is, and we always want to win. So, especially now with the old results that we had. I mean, obviously it's in the past, but we need to move forward from it and get some points tonight, starting off.
You mentioned it's good to be home. Do you sense that the city is eager to see you guys getting going in the right direction?
Yeah, just overall, I mean, we're obviously focusing on ourselves and just together as a group. I mean, we all are very excited to be back home in Toronto now. So, it seems like everyone is ready to go tonight.
What's your sense of the team coming off a tough road trip?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a. Obviously, it's nice to get home and new month. It's a little bit of we're resetting here and then moving forward and just focusing on how to get better and the areas we need to get better.
What's the number one area you think the team needs to improve on the ice?
Well, I think we just it just feels a little bit disconnected right now, and we got to clean that up. It starts in our own end, getting pucks into our forwards' hands, and then getting through the neutral zone and into their zone. And I think when we're at our best, we're playing really quick, and we're getting through the neutral zone and having a lot of O-zone time.
Where is the ideal place to, put the forwards? Is it from a defenseman's perspective coming out of the zone?
Well, I think it's playing in groups of 5, so I think we got to be connected all over the ice, not only in our zone but in the neutral zone and offensive zone. But it just feels like at times now we're stretched a little bit too much, so we got to clean that up. It starts with us as D-men at the back. We get back for pucks, make really good reads and plays, and move it into our forwards, and then it's on them to get through the neutral.
In your experience, how many games should that take for the group to kind of get connected and things start thinking?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a number you can put on it. I think a lot of us in here have played together for games, and it's all about execution. To be honest, we shouldn't put a number of games or anything like that on it. It's execution. It's little details I think that help you execute. But we went over it. There's a lot of little areas that we can be better on, and as individuals, you sort of have to put it on yourself sometimes.
When you're from the city, do you feel it? Do you feel like the angst when you come back, like that people are eager to see the team get it going, or is that completely
I love it. I think people are passionate about our team here. People are excited for us to do well, and I'd much rather play in a city that cares and really is involved in the day-to-day operations of the team and following us. So no, it's a passionate fan base. Of course, we you hear things and you see things and you watch things, but I think there's nothing like playing in a Canadian market. It's great.
How does the body feel coming off the road? Like sometimes the California Western trip, first game back, can be tricky. How would you describe how you feel the challenge tonight?
Yeah, I think our staff has put in a really good plan in place when it comes to sleep and meals and rest for us, and coordinating when we travel and how we travel. So I feel pretty good.
How important is it not just to win, but against the Eastern teams that you're going to be playing a lot more now in the next little while?
Yeah, I think if you really look at it, looking at the standings, I think Boston's really pulled away not pulled away. I shouldn't say pulled away. It's still so early, but they've gotten off to a really hot start. I think Jersey in the last little bit has picked up some points, but other than that, Carolina's up there too. But there's a bunch of teams in a big pack right now. It's seems like there's a ton of teams around 500, so it's important. It's important this next little stretch to start number one, playing really well, and then the results are going to take care of themselves.
You had concerned about communication with Pontus last time he was up. How has that improved, do you think, since today?
It seems to be getting better, but he's still going to rely on his teammates a lot to make sure that it's clear. A lot of times you get these guys, especially those coming up from the minors, they're going to tell you that they understand everything, but we want to make sure, obviously, that he's clear. So part of the reason why his line mates are what they are tonight. We want to make him as comfortable as possible, but also think he complements those guys well too on the ice.
Is it a similar message, Sheldon, today as on Sunday in terms of the simplicity of the game, or what's your message to the group going into this one?
Yeah, very much so. We thought we were well on our way to, starting to look and feel like ourselves there, and obviously it didn't work out that way when we got out for the second period. I wouldn't even say the whole second period. It was probably the last 12 minutes or so of the second period. But, that's really it. It's just focusing on ourselves mainly here. We talk a little bit about our opponent today, of course, as we always do, but a lot of emphasis the last couple of days just on ourselves and continuing to get our game right.
What have you seen that you think Riley Mete could work as a pairing?
Well, I mean, to be honest, it's really just a matter of how the other pairs shook out. Frankly, we've got a mix of guys here right now. We're trying to find the right mix. We've, obviously, Riley and Brody we like a lot, but we've just found the way that some of the other pairs were going that we needed to stabilize ourselves a little bit defensively there. Not ideal for us to have. With only one right-handed shot defenseman, it's not ideal for us to have Brody, who is the most comfortable on his offside as a lefty, to not have him on the right side. Create some challenges for us, but we just feel that he really could help Justin Hall, and that's been a good pairing for us. Not only the other night in Anaheim, which is kind of why we went with it, but last season those guys did quite well together. So I had to go with that, and then we're trying to find the right mix after that. Gio's been pretty solid for us there, no matter who his partner's been, and just kind of putting it together, with what's working around that. And then I think in the game you'll see a lot of mixing and matching and guys moving about and trying to put everybody in the best position possible to succeed.
So safe to say Liljegren will probably be back Saturday?
Yeah, that's. I think it's Friday he's eligible or comes off, and then the plan's to get him right in.
How does coming home, do you think, change the dynamic? Obviously, of last change, but do you sense that? I know it can be tough the first game back, but there's a different energy.
Yeah, it's certainly nice to be back, especially being gone for so long. I don't know whether we've had a trip that long since I've been here. I'm sure we probably have, but it didn't feel that way. 12 days or whatever it was by the time we got back home. Nice to be back here. We played some pretty good hockey when we were here, so that's comforting coming back. We know our fans. Our fans will be here to support us if we give them reason to support us, and then certainly we have to go out and perform. So it just remains on us to go out and play a better hockey game, and we certainly are motivated to do so. It's a matter of clearing our heads mentally and just getting out and playing.
What are you seeing in Twitter Alice Flyers showing surprising some teams here and everywhere?
Yeah, well, obviously, Torts teams seem to play the same way all the time, consistently. I think that's a big part of it. Obviously, their goaltending's been outstanding and given them a chance in every game. I think what you see with that is the team just develops confidence through that, and no matter what's happening all the way through. A lot of would say, they're leaning on their goaltending a ton, but then, we look at it and preparing for the game here, and they outchance, Carolina just last week. They outchanced them in a game, and Tampa not too long ago. So, they are a team that through work ethic and competitiveness and structure and sound goaltending have built a high level of confidence. So that's something you have to contend with and break your way through.
The other day you were saying the effects of a back-to-back can be real. How can you take advantage of that considering the Flyers went to OT last night?
Yeah, we got to start fast, get our energy going early on, look to play with the lead, those are all sorts of things. I think the effects of such things with schedules, I sometimes you can debate it, and sometimes it might actually be an advantage early in the game because you played the night before, you're fresh, you're in sort of game mode, and then the effects over the course of the game maybe take place and the team start to wear down a little bit. So our start is going to be really important because the expectation would be that on the back half of it that we would be the fresher team, despite us coming off of a tough road trip and schedule ourselves. But I think to go into a game thinking that you have that advantage without just actually going out and making it an advantage, that's the biggest challenge, and that's why we haven't talked about their schedule or anything that they're going through or even much about them at all. It's really just focusing on our team.
What's prevented Kubel from hanging on to a role here the last week or so?
It just in the games that he's played, that the line that he's played with, and we've really felt coming in with him and Kampf and Aston Reese that could be a real strong line for us, and be a line that we could really rely upon. And the line just didn't go well, and frankly, Kampf, a lot of things just didn't go well there for him and how we were using them. I've talked to Kubi quite a bit, just in terms of right from preseason all the way through about his game and really pushing and taking advantage of opportunities that he gets. And it just hasn't quite happened here for him. Give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt early on. He had a much shorter off season than everybody else in our building, but that can only sort of last for so long, and you need to take advantage of what's there. So he's been working hard. We've liked what he's brought physically and competitively. Some areas of his game, with the puck and things like that, haven't really come together here yet. So he just hasn't really grabbed a hold of a spot. And for a guy like him and some others, that's led to us, making decisions each day about who's going to go in or out and play where. And a lot of times he's just found himself out of that mix.
You've probably been asked this before, but are there any elements of the way Torts coaches that you picked up on that you've used?
Well, I think I have answered this before, and certainly, and Torts and I have talked about this ourselves, but when I first started coaching, when I had no idea what I was doing, I started in junior A right out of playing, you fall back on experiences that you've had as a player, and certainly the most significant experience I've had as a player was going through the process in Tampa Bay when he took over, and it was a team that was really struggling to find its way, and year over year improved and ultimately won the Stanley Cup. And by that time the team was far too good for me to continue to play for them, but I was there in being a part of the growth and him challenging and making changes to the group year over year, and seeing that succeed is sort of served as the foundation for me in coaching when I began.
Any news on Jake Muzzin? You said he was seeing a specialist.
Yeah, there were some tests and things that he went through out there, of which we don't have great clarity on the results here quite yet. We expect to have that in the near future, and so when we get those, we'll share them.
Just how big of a hole is his absence on the ice, because he brings a certain thing, but even maybe more importantly, like in the dressing room at a time like this?
Significant absence. On the ice for sure. You see our penalty kill hasn't been the same. And it's just sort of, when you lose a guy like that you lean on so much, everybody else has to play more and in different situations than they're maybe accustomed to. And I think that's part of what we're going through a little bit on the back end that way. But yeah, his experience and his voice in the room and in the games, that's another area that you take him out, and other people are now having to say more, address different situations. be the guys that are looked upon and counted upon. I think that's another area we're just looking towards. I mean, we've had some meetings internally and stuff away from the games, and Jake's been a part of that. And even yesterday he was in some of our discussions, so he's still around and a part of our team, and in a very important part that way, but not quite the same as when you have him in uniform. And that's something that we've talked about. It's just that other people have got to step up in those areas. So I think that's another area. Of course, it doesn't get a lot of attention, but it's something internally that we've been talking about, because I think there's an absence there that others are trying to find their way through to sort of replace that.
When the team got off to a slow start last season, you eventually split up Mitch and Austin. I'm wondering if you contemplated that as you've gone through this, and ultimately why you decided to kind of keep running them out.
Yeah, I've contemplated a lot of things, of course, as we've gone through this, and we've tried a number of different things. Ultimately, I just feel like those guys, I feel like last season those guys developed an even greater chemistry than they've ever had, and I'm not at the point yet where I feel like the answer for us to get going is to separate the guys that had some of the best chemistry in the league last season and carried us to great heights through the regular season. So those guys are committed to working through it together, and I am still at the point of giving them the opportunity to work with them on that. We've had a number of discussions as a group, and on the road trip, despite the puck not necessarily going in the net, there were some really positive signs for that group that we want to continue to see that play out. But obviously, nothing's off the table at this point in terms of what the options might be for us. If we don't start to see progress.
Last question. If a guy like Timothy was healthy, if you had a couple more, right-handed shot options, would there have been a sense of maybe giving Justin a couple of games to reset after maybe a rough stretch?
I mean, not a hypothetical that I would like to get into or discuss right now, but I mean, all of our guys need to be better, no matter who. Justin's a very important player for us, not only because he shoots right, because he's one of our top penalty kills. I mean, he was a guy who took a couple penalties in LA, and you saw the difference when we didn't have him to kill the penalty. And he plays a lot of really tough minutes. We talked about Muzzin and his absence and how other people have to step up and take on tougher matchups and such. Justin's another guy that doesn't get a lot of easy nights in terms of his matchups and such. So that's an important thing for us to keep in mind. But with all our guys, we just need to continue to work on trying to get them to be the best version of themselves.